if you know what I mean. I'm not trying to evade the answer. I'm just saying that...
No, I agree with you. I mean, the big threat is not Hugo Chavez. It's Goldman Sachs. But it doesn't mean I have to bow down to Hugo Chavez. We are going into financial bondage. We are under financial siege. $1 trillion pumped into private banks. Europe being told they've got to give up their pension funds. The Germans on the verge of throwing out Merkel. She lost many seats in their government. Same thing. Gordon Brown steps down. Nicolas Sarkozy in trouble, saying no to the carbon tax. So we're having some victories against the bankers setting up their global tax, but they're going to hold us in financial hostages until we go along with it and continue to play games. As the real economy dies, they continue to have everyone addicted to their stock market. Is that a good assessment, Max Keiser of MaxKeiser.com?
Well, all the professionals who work in the gaming industry, and we talked about this last time, and the online gaming industry are migrating into the finance business so that all of the techniques that get people hooked on games are being used to get people hooked on doing day trading. So, as I explained earlier in the show, when you see a Goldman Sachs or somebody like that pushing prices up 2 or 3%, the folks that are on the day trading, addiction kick in, and they are doing the dirty work for them. So they've basically created an army of what I call Manchurian candidates. These people, when they hear the trigger word and they see certain prices flicker across the screen, they go into a zombie state, and they just do exactly what they're being told by Jim Cramer over there at CNBC.
And it's like that with terrorism. It's like that with the phony environmental movement. It's all these mind-controlled zombie groups that give the globalists power. But look at the controllers. They can't even plug this oil leak that's now millions and millions of gallons. They lied about that and said it was a few thousand gallons. They're not God. And that's what's even more dangerous is that I think they're going to lose control. I believe they're starting to lose control. Webster Tarpley, who I really respect, believes that as well. Do you see them losing?
Wait a minute. The payout from the insurance company is way more than the money they're losing on that oil spill, Alex. The insurance is overwritten, just like these companies in America buy life insurance on employees. So when the employees die, the life insurance company gets the money, not the family.
No, that's what Walmart greeters are for, is they do actuaries that's come out. They know when they're going to die statistically, so they just hire a bunch of old people to stand there because they're putting $3 million on each one of them.
They get the money, not the families. Okay? This oil spill is not going to lose money for anybody who's responsible. They're going to make money.
All right,
because
quick.
they've tilted the entire economic system in ways that the risk is only borne by the majority of people who have no money, and all of the rewards float up to those who are perpetrating all of these problems.
Risk is socialized, profit privatized. We're going to take a few quick questions because we got George Humphrey here in studio, and Max Keiser has to go here in just a moment. But Charles in Louisiana, you're on the air with Max Keiser. Go ahead.
How you doing, sir? Yeah, I'm down here in Louisiana watching all this. They said in 72 hours they're going to try something else, but they really haven't it's another Katrina, and they laid back on it. What they want to do now is take human hair and animal hair to suck it up off the beaches to make mats out of it. But I think the Bayou Boys, it's going to tear them up. It's going to finish the Bayou Boys. All the boats docked right now. You can't buy no seafood. Right now in Venice, it's 10 miles off the shore, real heavy, and it hit the shore in Alabama now. When it hits here full, it's just going to wipe Louisiana out. And I think all the southern states.
Well, they continue to underestimate the amount. First, it was a few thousand gallons a day. But experts looked at the satellite photos and said it had to be hundreds of thousands a day. It's now 3.5 million gallons. Who knows? It could be 20 million gallons. I mean, they're such liars, Max Keiser. Who knows?
Well, it sounds medieval. They're making mats out of people's hair. I mean, what's next, leeches?
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I heard it on news radio driving in this morning. And the host was saying, what are mats of hair going to do? In fact, guys, pull up oil spill, mats of hair. What are they talking about, mats of hair? I mean,
because if you go back a few hundred years, people back in the medieval times, when they had problems like this, they would band together and cut their hair off and make mats of hair. But, I mean, is this the best America has to offer, medieval cures? I mean, what century are we in?
But listen, people, you think we're joking. What have you heard about the mats of hair? I thought I was in the twilight zone driving in, but it was a mainstream talk radio going, what is this about mats of hair in the Gulf? So they're going to have people cut their hair off and throw it in the ocean?
Collecting hair from salons and animal farms, and they're going to bind it together into stockings, nylon stockings, and you float that out into the water, and it sucks up, it attracts the oil. Okay, so here you have this 21st century high-tech oil spill that we were told the probability of there being a spill was virtually nothing. It explodes because nobody bothered to spend the $500,000 on the safety equipment that would have prevented this thing from blowing up. And to cure the problem, they're going to have people collect hair at salons and make hair mats from stockings.
All right, real fast, because I want to go to calls, but specifically, we've had some guests on who talk about the fact that this happened right after the day after Earth Day, that Obama didn't really want to allow drilling, that BP is going to make money off insurance on this, that they're only liable for something like $750 million. Are you hinting at this being staged, Max?
No, I'm not hinting. I'm hinting that the companies are too cheap to buy adequate safety equipment. I mean, think about, for example, I don't want to go open a big, a big thing here, but for $50 an airplane, it would have been very easy to have an adequate lock between the cockpit and the fuselage of an airplane. But airlines are too cheap. Industry is too cheap, and they could have prevented, terrorist attacks.
But Max, you know as well as I, 9/11 was a staged event.
Well, but I'm just saying that ultimately they're cheap. So this is a $500,000 piece of equipment that BP, other countries, by the way, not in America.
No, I know. Everybody else has them.
Mandatory. You have to have this $500,000 piece of equipment that shuts down the valve if there's an explosion. But America has become a third world country where you don't have to comply to any environmental regulations anymore. You can just go into the Gulf, stick something in the bottom of the Gulf, and if it blows up, who cares? I mean, that's the.
All right, Max. Absolutely. Let's get to a few final questions for you because you've got to go. Jacob in Oregon, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're on the air with the Max, the home gain orange gorilla. Go ahead.
Fantastic. Thanks, Max. Thanks, Alex. Max, thanks first of all for answering most of my questions actually during the course of this show. But I do have one final one, and that is that reading over the patent, I've only read the one from 1999 that looks at the virtual specialist, kind of sets it up as a sort of distributed system of trading, it develops a trading machine gun. Now it seems like it's being used as a nuclear weapon. Except instead of a bomb just destroying your house, it takes everything from your neighbor's garage and puts it in yours. How is this really the first strike, would you say, in what we would consider cyber warfare?
Well, as I said at the top of the show, I think it's an example of a domestic financial terrorist attack, unequivocal, so it's the first example. As far as my patent goes, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not used the way it was designed. It was designed actually to eliminate front-running and to eliminate the broker-dealer conflict. But instead, the new owner, Cantor Fitzgerald, they've accentuated the broker-dealer conflict, and they've turned it inside out, which under European law is completely illegal, by the way. You can't do that to anyone's intellectual property.
But because it's all globalized, they do whatever they want. But let me throw this out there. Did you see the Hill newspaper and also CBS with Obama over the weekend saying this may have been cyber terror? Well, obviously, it's Goldman Sachs doing it, and they stand to gain, and it was staged. It wasn't a fat finger. So now they're going to use this to take our Internet freedoms, claiming that some guy in a cave did this.
Well, I think you have to differentiate between cyber terror, as that term is understood, and this is what I call financial terror. Cyber terror would be something like a distributed denial of service attack you see between China and the U.S. all the time. It takes place over the Internet.
Or somebody hacking into a hospital and turning the power off.
This is specifically attacking the market-making mechanism at the root of all exchanges in the U.S. and around the world.
No, I know. My question is, Max, what do you think of Obama floating the idea that men with turbans did this?
Well, I didn't hear him say that, but I can tell you that it was Goldman Sachs. I mean, I don't know what else can I tell you?
No, I know. I agree with you. Hey, guys, pull it up.
That's it. 3 syllables.
Pull it up. Obama says stock market plunge, maybe cyber attack, or maybe sabotage was the headline. Sabotage is what...
If he said it, he's completely misinformed. He's misinformed. I mean, he's not an expert in these areas, and he made a misstatement. He doesn't really understand.
Well, I don't think it's a misstatement. I mean, when somebody slips on a banana peel, they say Al-Qaeda did it, and we just give up all our rights and keep us safe.
Well, I'm telling you what happened. It's from the point of view of somebody who's very familiar with these systems. Well,
we know they're lying and saying a fat finger did it. I mean, they're saying a fat finger did it. Now they admit it wasn't a fat finger.
No, it was not a fat finger. That was not the problem. They've already been discredited. That idea is no longer even being considered. And now, if you have people like Janet Tavakoli, who is extremely well respected, now questioning whether or not this was market manipulation. Barry Ritholtz over there at the big picture, he's a very plugged-in guy on Wall Street.